I know it's cold now, but we have a big time warm up moving in for next week. Watch the warmer temperatures beginning to move in. In this daily shower, we're going to be chatting about a number of locations in the warm up that's coming through Christmas and the week beyond. Plus, the next big snowmaker is already on the horizon. That's coming up in today's daily shower. Hello there, Matt Makins here. Let's get to the details. But first, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking, commenting. I wish you the happiest of holiday seasons and Merry Christmas to you. All right, here comes that warm up. Watch the colder temperatures during the course of the next week begin to kind of erode away. They're still over the east, but they're eroding. They're gradually going away. Meanwhile, a bullseye of heat there across the southwest begins to move across the country. So this animation goes through the next 2 weeks, and the trend here is warmth builds southwest, moves, displaces the cold, and then by the end of the animation, toward the new year, into the first few days of January, cold comes back into the southwest. That'll be the next big snowmaker, weather maker for the western U.S. You can see the colder temperatures in the blue shades beginning to develop there just after the 1st. So if you're western U.S., plan on around the 1st being the next big impactor, although there's some impacts right now, as we'll chat about. Here's the warm-up. These are Christmas Day highs. Look at LA, 81 degrees, Seattle 52, Denver 53. We're still single digits and teens across a good portion of the eastern U.S. Tampa's only 49. 49 for Tampa. Here's Monday. We have 70s and 60s across the southwest. Some of the teens and 20s are beginning to move up to the north and east, gradually into the Great Lakes and New England states, kind of moving up toward the northeast ever so gradually. As you look at Tuesday, we're nearly 60 degrees around Denver. Phoenix is 71, Billings 46, Seattle and Portland in the 50s. Just begin to moderate here. Upper Midwest, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, New England, starting to get a little bit warmer. It's a gradual process, though. Here we are into Wednesday. Now we have 20s and 30s, even some 40s. Chicago 41 there on Wednesday, so you can see the warm-up that continues. And the southern tier of states begins to warm up as well. Houston, San Antonio back into the 70s, 72 around Tampa. So we have a warming trend. You have to be patient in some cases. Based on how the warm-up does continue, you can see Thursday now, and most all cities on the map are warmer than freezing this time, with the exception of Bismarck and International Falls. But we're getting closer to 80s again across the south, so warm-up does continue into Thursday. Based on the analytics that YouTube provides, here are a selection of cities. So let's get you your weekly planner here. We'll start off with Seattle. 40s as we go into Christmas weekend, 50 Christmas Day, and we'll stay in the 50s and 40s for the remainder of the week. This is Denver now. Very cold Thursday into Friday, warmer Saturday, Christmas Day 50s. We'll come near 60 degrees on Tuesday. Dallas, Fort Worth, gradually warming. We're back in the lower 40s for Christmas Day. 50s, then 60s, and knocking on the door 70 degrees by next Thursday. Around Chicago, deep freeze early in the weekend, gets a little bit better past Christmas. Again, 41 by Wednesday, Thursday 47. So the warm-up is technically happening, just gradual. You got to be patient around Chicago to get those warmer temperatures back in there. Let's focus on precip. This looks at the next week in terms of above or below average precip. We're looking at drier than average conditions across the southeast, wetter around the Great Lakes, New England, down into the mid-Atlantic, and wetter across the west, albeit a lot of that water does come in toward the tail end of this forecast, closer to New Year's. So that's in terms of precip. What about estimated snowfall? Kind of silly to go too far out, but during the course of the next week, there's going to be quite a bit of snowfall in the Sierras, Cascades, Rockies, as well as the Great Lakes and parts of New England. Let's just focus on the next 3 days in terms of both rainfall, total precip, and snowfall. So let's get into total precip. We'll come into this area in just a moment because that's mostly going to be snowfall. But toward the northwest, Seattle and Portland, they begin to climb the scale here at 2.5, 3 to almost 4 inches in cases. Around the Cascades, you get closer to Olympics. They're going to have quite a bit of rainfall as well, but that goes all the way down to Astoria, even past Salem and Albany, getting quite a bit of rainfall. But there's Vancouver, and you can see surrounding Vancouver some higher totals, but Vancouver and Portland still greater than an inch in some cases on the way. In the Rockies, that's mostly in the terms of snowfall. And speaking of that, here is the snowfall totals. Kind of the bullseye is going to be Great Lakes and New England, but we do have some of the snowfall out to the west. Cascades there outside of Seattle will be coming close to foot to foot and a half of snowfall. Most of the Rockies here from Montana down into Wyoming and even parts of Colorado. Yes, you may kind of get into the closer to foot range, but vast majority, especially southern areas, will only be picking up a couple to a few inches. And again, this is over the next 3 days. But let's focus on this area. Look at Ironwood to Hancock, Marquette to the Sioux. We're looking at snowfall totals nearing 2 feet. Petoskey, Traverse City, nearing 2 feet of snowfall. Around Buffalo and Waterton, we're going to be looking at 1 to 2 to 3 feet of snowfall in these immediate areas. Closer to the lakes, you're going to be closer to that 3 foot total. So that's really remarkable for a 3-day snowfall total. So hopefully folks there wished for a white Christmas, because they certainly will have it. Speaking of heavy snowfall, as we transition, as we warm up through next week into the new year, we're already looking at slight chances for very heavy snowfall in the Rockies. That's going to be the 30th into the 5th. So 30th of December to January 5th. Risks of very heavy snowfall throughout the Rockies, as well as the Sierras and parts of the Cascades. Let me zoom that map in just a little bit. This area, this kind of orange coloration on the map, that's a symbol of very strong wind. Wind and heavy snowfall possible as we wrap up the year into the new year. That comes after the warming temperatures that we can expect during the next week or so. So already tracking that next big impactor for the West, and of course we'll provide you greater details past Christmas on the next Daily Shower. Matt Makins here. Happy holidays to you and yours.